the plate and get passionate about work. Good morning to all our learners, observers, scholars, and guests. Professor Suresh Raghav. I, Shreya Bhatnagar, welcome you all to the webinar series on From Campus to Courts and Corporates, organized by Legal Intellect. Legal intellect assure knowledge in social and legal affairs and also provide an individual with the exposure and right skill set needed in the field of law. So here we are with a topic which will help you to choose the right path, gain you extra knowledge, and ease your career plannings. Before we get started, I would like to inform you how you have to be present in today's event. Keep your mic muted during the entire session. Maintain discipline and overall decency. Please mention your queries in the chat box after the presentation. The best way to predict the future is to create it. And to create it, you need proper and professional knowledge. So here we introduce our guest, Professor Suresh Raghav, to serve you with guidance. A well-rounded HR and law professional with 30 plus strong and vibrant years of rich experience and proven track record in human resource management and legal functions in various corporate sectors with strong legal experience of handling business law and labor law. He has been associated with a variety of universities, B schools, and law schools, teaching postgraduate students in various strategies and law subjects. He is an author of the book titled Prioritizing Performance and busy visiting professor in soft skills training, management domain, and youth trainings. He has completed his BA LLB with a gold medal in constitutional law and university rank in law from Mysore University. He is known for his leadership and management skills to implement organizational development initiatives. Mr. Raghav is an effective trainer, coach, and mentor who has successfully handled many corporate acquisitions and mergers. He has been a guest lecturer in IIM Bangalore, IIM Kolkata, and IIM Lucknow. Thank you, sir, for taking out time to counsel us for our bright futures. We would request sir to start the event.
Okay. Very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me yet again another opportunity to share few of my thoughts with you in continuation of whatever I talked with you about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So today, what are the objectives for the session? First objective is I would like to take you through the beautiful journey quickly between the campus and the courts, and also between the campus and the corporates. At the very outset, let me begin by saying that in all academic disciplines, the distance between theory and practice is quite large. And the same is the case even when it comes to our legal profession. Supposing you take up an engineer, mechanical engineer, production engineer, or chemical engineer, or a software engineer, we generally find that there is a transition period of at least 1.5 to 2 years or 3 years before he becomes a good engineer with hands-on experience. I am associated with software companies for almost 15 years now. Even if you take up big companies like Infosys, Wipro, or HCL, they go to the campus, they recruit people who are in their final year engineering and offer letters are given. But then they are put through a rigorous training for 6 months or 9 months, and they are expected to take all the tests. And only when they clearly complete all those tests to the satisfaction of the management, they are put into actual work. You have studied for 4 years engineering, but still you have to wait for minimum 1.5 to 2 years to write a piece of good code. Then again, you have to wait for some more time. By the time you become a good designer, by the time you become a good architect, this is relating to software. Similarly, doctors. My daughter is a doctor. The moment you complete your MBBS or your post-graduation, nobody asks you to perform a surgery or an operation or an eye operation, whatever it is, immediately. You have to shadow the senior doctor. It takes time. So rule number 1, even in our wonderful legal profession, there is what is known as a gestation period or a training period which you have to necessarily go through. This is the most toughest part in your life. Academics is fairly easy. Colleges take lots of stress teaching you properly, conducting exams, declaring the results, and try in a very small way to bridge the gap between academics and real life. If you're doing your MBA, they'll send you for a project work for about 1 or 2 months. Get a peep into the corporates, find out what's happening there so that it warms you up. Similarly, in law colleges, we have a concept called moot court. Yes, it gives you a small feel of what's happening in the courts. But that is very much required, but a long way is required when it comes to becoming a good advocate or a lawyer. Or similarly, if you're entering into the corporate, to become a good corporate lawyer takes minimum 2 to 3 years. By the time you get a reasonable understanding, I'm still not saying you become an expert, to understand reasonably of what this subject is. Where am I? Am I coming to the grips of what I have learned? Application of theory to practice has always been a challenge for everybody, including academicians, including practitioners. So that's why I'm going to spend some time with you, trying to take you through this little journey. Rule number 2, please remember that you are all ahead looking for a career. Career is always for a long time. There's a difference between doing a job and a career. Career, you do it for the next 30 years, 40 years. Most of you who are listening to me will be somewhere around 24, 25, 26 average age. Once you go to the court or to the corporate environment, you have a huge career running ahead of you. In fact, if you are practicing, age is not the limit at all. Ramjit Malani and all of them are practicing till 85, 88. So we are preparing you for a long career for the next 30, 40, 45 years. Therefore, please do not mind investing additional 2 or 3 years to learn. Because law students are always confused. How quickly I make money? How quickly I am able to take up the cases? Please remember, imagine that your law is for another 2 years or 3 years. If you are doing a 5-year course, just imagine that your law curriculum is for 7 years. With this perspective, please go. Then you will find the 2 years joyous. It is full of learning. So with this, let me begin. And then let's move on to some interesting topics. Whether you are entering the court or whether you are entering the corporate line, I am just going to take out 4 important competencies which you should know, which makes you click in the legal profession, both in the court and in the corporate, or in case you're joining a legal firm. Our profession is slightly different from the rest of the professions. Our profession is loaded with language. Language is the raw material for our profession. We are not into business, we are into service. Infosys is doing software. Toyota Motors is manufacturing cars. Or if you take up Indian Organic Chemicals, they are manufacturing chemicals. So there the ball game is business. But here it is different. When I talk about language, what do I mean? I am talking about the legal language. First and foremost, if you have to make a mark in the court or in the corporates or in legal firms, please start loving English. I'm purposely giving a pause so that it sinks into you properly. Indian languages are great. Hindi is great, Sanskrit is great, Gujarati is great, Tamil is great, Kannada is great, Telugu is great. Our Indian languages are all 40,000 to 50,000 years old. English is only around 1,600 years old. Indian languages are far, far, far better in literature. Very powerful when it comes to the language. In Hindi, for example, kaka gaganna, chacha chachanna, tata tatanna. I do not know whether you have observed. When you say kaka kaganna, your tongue is right at the back. When you say chacha chachanna, it moves forward. When you say tata tatana, it's right at the middle. When you say tata tatana, your tongue is just below your upper teeth. When you say papa papamma, you speak with your lips. This is how Indian languages have been developed based on the functioning of the vocal cords. So nobody is disputing the fact that Indian languages are great. English has got only 26 alphabets or letters. Whether you like it or not, it is the most successful language in the world today. 60% of the people in the world speak English. They write in English. Law is all about English. In the Indian languages, you have approximately 250 to 300 alphabets. Kaka, kiki, kai, kaka, kaganna, chacha, chachanna. In English, you have only 26 alphabets or letters. A to Z. You don't have yeah. You don't have B. You got it? That is why this language is complicated. It is easy, but again complicated. And for we people who are entering into the legal profession and who have done law, they teach you law in English. You are expected to write the examination in English. You are expected to practice in English. You are expected to read the cases in English. You are expected to do everything in English, though there is certain amount of regionalism which has crept into the court. In corporate, our mother tongue is English. You can't go to Infosys and Wipro and say, conduct the interview in Hindi. Right? Get this straight. So therefore, rule number one, again, when I'm entering into this particular topic, love the language. If you don't like English, if you don't like reading English, if you don't like writing in English, you are going to be a failure. You are going to a court and you are joining a senior advocate. The first thing which he will do is he'll give you a file and say, please read. That file will be about 100 pages or 150 pages or 200 pages. You have to read. You should have the ability. You should have the liking. You should have the passion for reading. Then only you will understand the facts of the case. Otherwise, how are you going to understand the facts of the case? Similarly, when you enter into the court, you will find that the judges are always transferred. And therefore, the court language is English. You may come to Tamil Nadu or you may go to Andhra, but the judges from North India, you can't speak in the regional language. Regional language helps you a little, but ultimately it is the love for this language which is going to take you forward. English is only 1,600, 1,700 years old. It is an Anglo-Saxon language. The Britishers had a much tougher history when compared to the history which we had. The Romans were ruling them for a long time, and then the Saxons came, the Anglo-Saxons came, the French came. At one point of time, the judges in Britain, they did not know which is the court language. You had the Anglo-Saxon language, you had the French language, and you had the Latin language, because the Romans left behind Latin. That's why you'll find enormous Latin words in our legal curriculum. So therefore, enjoy the beauty of this language. I do not know whether you have appreciated all these things. In the legal language, if you have been very keenly observing in your curriculum, preferably there be no punctuations. In all other areas in English, we use punctuations. Punctuations will generally not be used. We will be expanding the language. We will be expanding the language. Many times words will be redundant. Law and order. When there is law, there is order. Correct? Terms and conditions. It's a synonym. It means the same. Terms and conditions. Like this, you will get lots of interesting issues. Appreciate English in its grandeur. There is no correlation between alphabets and pronunciations. T-O-U-G-H is tough. Where is F there in tough? R-O-U-G-H is rough. Where is F there? W-R-I-T-E is right. You don't pronounce it with W. Right? So therefore, if you see many of the English words, there will be a mismatch between the pronunciation and the written. Enjoy all that, because it has got only 26 alphabets. With this, we do permutations and combinations and try to bring out a huge language called English. In English today, we have more than 10 lakh words. The 10th lakh word is N00B. It is not NOOB. English is the only language which permits numericals also to come into words. So, dear friends, what am I trying to tell in these few minutes? Embrace the language, love the language. This language is all about your passion for this language. You will find your success in the legal profession correlating with your passion for the English language. So therefore, whether you are joining the court, or whether you are entering into corporate, or whether you are entering into a legal firm, please start loving English. Love your mother tongue, but keep it to the place where it should belong. Do you know why Chinese and Russians are greatly zooming in English? Because they are not mixing up things. Use it as a utility item. All of you wear shoes and chappals when you go out. When you enter the house, what do? Remove the chappal. Remove the shoes there. You don't wear shoes and chappals inside the house. So if you don't like English also, start embracing this language and start using it as a utility language. When I go to court, I have to read the cases in English. I have to argue in English. I have to do my opening with my English introduction to the judge. How do I be precise? How do I come to the point? So therefore, even if you don't love the language, use this language at least for the purposes of utility value. Don't mix it up with culture. Don't mix it up with other things. Okay, good. Having said so much about this, I would also request you to enjoy Latin words. Estoppel, caveat, audi alteram partem, egestum generis, annultant. I do not know. They would have taught you all these things. Be familiar, because your opponent lawyer is going to use these words profusely in the courts. So make a list of all these Latin words also. Sometimes, as I said, there will be certain redundant words, but you are expected to use it. Null and void, terms and conditions, fit and proper. Fit means proper, but you are expected to say fit and proper. You are expected to use the word annul and set aside. Annul and set aside is one English word, but you're supposed to use it in court. Capricious and unreasonable. It's synonyms, but you're supposed to use capricious and unreasonable. To have and to hold. Know all men by these presents. So therefore, I'm saying, please start enjoying this language if you want to be successful. First point which I said, please spend another 2 to 3 years learning. Distance between theory and practice is too much. Second interesting point which I said, love the language. If you don't have a liking for this language, you are going to fail. Point number 3, which I would like to talk about, is self-confidence. I'll spend only a few minutes on this. Why I am talking about this is these are the competencies required for a budding lawyer, whether you are going to practice in court or going to corporates or whether you are entering a legal firm. Self-confidence is a trait which is completely hidden within you, within you, within you. It doesn't come out. You can't see my self-confidence outside. It is within me. Self-confidence is something which keeps getting eroded often. Now, most of you will be having lack of self-confidence. I've taken this course. Will I succeed as a lawyer? Will I succeed in corporate? Did I make a right decision by joining this particular program? When you enter into the court for the next 2 years, psychologically your self-confidence will keep on defeating you. What is this court? Nobody is teaching me. Nobody is helping me. First of all, when you enter into the court, you should know where the courts are. If you come to a city like Bangalore, High Court is somewhere, District Court is somewhere, Sessions Court is somewhere, Metropolitan Court is situated another 4 kilometers away. Judicial Magistrate of the first class will be another 5 kilometers away. Law tribunals will be, income tax tribunals will be 8 kilometers away. To understand where the courts are located itself will take few days. Minimum 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes if you're in a small town, you may not have this problem. Then when you're entering into the court itself, there are hundreds of things which they don't teach you in college. First of all, if at all you're getting a case, you should know where you will get the forms. There is a form called as Wakalatnama. That is where he is giving you an authority to go and plead. Where is that form? Where will you get the form? How will you fill up the form? Where the person who is asking you to plead the case, where he has to sign? Power of attorney form. Like this, there are hundreds and hundreds of forms and documents which are used. You have to go search where it is. Sometimes you'll get it on the websites. You'll get it on court websites. You'll get it in some legal websites. Sometimes you have to go physically get those forms. Where are you going to get those forms? That is why you may go through a little frustrating experience. That's why we say give 2 years time. Third thing is, you have what is known as the Indian Stamp Act. You have what is known as the court fee. You have to remit that payment there. That is the revenue for the court. You should know how to take the appropriate stamps, fix it at the appropriate place. All these things require time. Next thing is, who are the clerks? Where do I go submit my documents? Is he going to accept the document or not? Is there a numbering given for the case? How is it numbered? What do you mean by numbering? So all these things come into picture. So that is why we say no student will be getting all these things from day one. These things are not, I would say, practically taught in many law colleges. That is why you have to go through this drill. Enjoy the beauty of all that. Again, when you are joining the court, you will be looking for a senior. Seniors are not teachers. There is a difference when you are a student. You pay 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs for the college and the professor teaches you. When you come to practice, sorry, there's a whole difference. You are not paying fees to anybody. So nobody is there to formally teach you. Your senior will just give you a big case and say, start reading. You will keep reading. At that time, you will feel no self-confidence. In college also, I didn't read such big bundles. Now they are giving me such big bundles. What should I do? You have to read 100 pages, 150 pages for you to understand the facts of the case, understand the law, see whether how the facts of the case are syncing with the law. This takes time. When you enter into the court, judge has no time for you. You have to be brief. You have to be smart. You would have prepared for 3 hours. Judge will say, give me the presentation remarks, opening remarks. In 5 minutes, you should impress the judge. And it should penetrate into him. And then the case is numbered. Yes, it is a fit case. Then as you go forward, start taking the case. What is examination? What is cross-examination? What is re-examination? 90% of the lawyers are bad in cross-examination. Cross-examination is the one area where the entire case will tilt. And many witnesses, especially in criminal cases, they themselves will be hooligans, thugs and
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, you are not audible.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hope you didn't lose me for a long time.
Yes, no, sir.
Okay. I talked about only three things: examination, cross-examination, re-examination. Very, very, very tough. Cross-examination tilts the case. Witnesses will be tutored. You have to break them. He comes and says, this is what I saw, but you have to prove you didn't see it. Not that easy. That's why we say it comes with experience. So therefore, dear friends, that is why self-confidence, love for the language, followed by self-confidence. Self-confidence has got two ingredients. One is self-esteem and one is self-efficacy. Self-esteem means please start loving yourself first. Before you fall in love with a girl or a boy, first start loving yourself. Suresh should love himself. I see some names here: Kritika, Yash, Priyanka, Rajita. Start loving yourself first. Self-esteem. I am fine. I am wonderful. I have all the potential with me. I will be a winner. I am going to be successful. Self-esteem should be nice, because if you start hating yourself, why did I do this course? I do not know why I was born. There are enough reasons for self-confidence to get eroded. COVID-19 has eroded self-confidence like anything. Future looks blank. So how do you pump in thoughts? Per day we get 30 to 35,000 thoughts. Pump in beautiful thoughts. That's when your self-esteem goes up. Second thing is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is based on your ability. A doctor, when he's performed the operation, he'll get nervous. What will come to his help? Self-esteem and self-efficacy. I have the ability. I did medicine. I will be able to do this surgery. I got first class in MBBS and MD. Self-efficacy. Similarly, when self-confidence goes, rely more on your efficacy. I've done law. I studied for 5 years. I will be able to do it. So just to sum up in 1 minute, self-confidence is the mantra. Love for the language is one mantra. Self-confidence with abundance of self-esteem and self-efficacy is the second mantra. Why I'm telling all this is, if you enter into the legal profession with all these competencies, only after 2 years you will be successful. Otherwise, even after 5 years, 8 years, no success. You come to cities like Bangalore, I'll show you advocates, even with 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, they are getting only monthly 5,000 or 10,000 rupees. They also studied law. They also passed out in first class. Why? They did not have the ability to integrate theory to practice. This happens in all professions. You will find doctors who would have done very well. Practice, they have lost out. Engineers who have done academically very well. In professional life, they would have lost out. I don't want that to happen to all of you. This is the most crucial stage in life. This is where you have to run very, 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 very fast. The next 2 to 3 years, double up. Okay, dear friends, the third important point which I would like to share with you is, apart from language, apart from self-confidence, is have a good attitude. Attitude means favorable opinion about something. Have a nice opinion about law, have a nice opinion about your college, have a nice opinion about your professors, have a nice opinion about court, have a nice opinion about your seniors, senior advocates, have a nice opinion about the corporate. Unless your attitude is good, you're not going to click. When I say attitude, please be very careful. Never fight with your senior. Today, the senior-junior relationship is going through a lot of strain. They are all people with enough experience. Learn from them. When you stand before the judge, be humble, be polite. A lot is expected through your attitude. In law of evidence, they would have taught you what is presumption. I don't know how many of you have read it seriously. A has murdered B. Case comes to the court. Has the judge seen A murdering B? A has murdered B. Has the advocate, public prosecutor seen A murdering B? A has murdered B. Has the defense counsel seen A murdering B? No. Nobody has seen that murder. But the way you talk and how your attitude is, how you put across the case and facilitate the court to come to the truth and get justice is what is known as a presumption. That is why it goes by presumption. The judge should finally feel, yes, I have presumed properly that A has murdered B. For which you have to give so many evidences: documentary evidence, oral evidence, primary evidence, secondary evidence. I don't want to get into all that because that will take another 4 hours of discussion. Understood? Your attitude should be perfect. They should feel that you are sincere. You will be practicing the court for 5 years. The judge will be transferred only once in 7 years or 8 years. The moment he sees you in the court, he should feel, hey, Suresh has come. He will speak the truth. Judges form opinions of advocates, case after case after case. Once they feel that you are a person with a good attitude, good communication skills, fine, I think the case should be in his favor. It is the presumption of the judge, right? So, dear friends, please make sure your attitude is good. Be good. The last point which I want to talk on is emotions. We are loaded with emotions. Emotions are also inside us. None of us can see our emotions. Anger, frustration, bliss, joy, envy, hatred, possessiveness, love. All these are emotions. We have 29 big emotions. One of the danger emotions is anger. Right? I take training programs on anger management. We don't want advocates to show your anger in the court. Don't come with these foolish emotions. Right? You will get frustrated. You will get angry with your opponent lawyer. You will get angry with the witness. You will get angry with the judge. Please bundle up all these things and throw aside if you want to click in the court. If you want to click in corporates. So, dear friends, keep the emotion at the emotional level. That does not mean we human beings should not have emotions, but emotions have to be kept within a border. So to sum up, 4 points. Love for the language. English is a beautiful language. You have to eat, sleep, breathe, and drink English language. The more you are good in this English language, in articulation, communication, communicate to express and to impress. Right? Pleadings is all about English writing. How do you draft your statement? How do you convince the court that your records are nice? So everywhere there is abundance of English, and use that as a vehicle for communication. That's why they would have taught you a beautiful subject called interpretation of statutes. How you can interpret the statutes provided you have a love for the English. There are laid down norms. Use those norms, and in case it's not fitting into the norms, interpret it nicely so that you win the case. Right, dear friends? Now, let's talk about courts a little more and let's move on to corporates. Okay? So, dear friends, warm welcome to the people who are joining the courts. 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, we discussed on all about the positions which are there in the court, how you can take judicial exams, how you can also become a judge, how you can become an advocate on record, how you can become, judicial magistrate in the first class. Let's not get into all that. Point number 1, please learn procedural laws nicely. All of you are good in substantive laws. Indian Contract Act, all of you will like. Similarly, all of you will like some interesting subjects related to law of torts. All that is substantive law. But in courts, we want 2 laws. Substantive law with the correct quantum of procedural laws. Indian Penal Code, 511 sections. Criminal Procedure Code. Understand Criminal Procedure Code. There is a procedure. Everywhere there is a procedure. Article 21 of the Constitution says no one can be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure laid by law. Every law has got procedures. Students are no good in procedures. Somewhere they are good in substantive laws. That is why I say that 2-3 years is required for understanding procedures. If you get a mix of these two correctly, you are there. Okay, dear friends, even if you join a legal firm, please remember, for those who are joining the court or into litigation, you will never get the case you want. Cases what you like, you will not get. That is why we say to students, have 3 plans: plan A, plan B, plan C. What are the subjects you like, and what is it that you really enjoy taking it to the court? Supposing you don't get that, plan B. What are the second set of laws which you are interested in? Then in case you don't get that also, then go to the third one. You're joining a senior. He's not getting the case which you want. He will ask you to handle the case which he gets. Help him in that. So dear friends, warm up yourself for all that. That's why I say self-confidence. Right? No one is expected to know all the 1261 laws. Take 10 laws which you like. Grade them A, B, C. And then see whether you are fitting into any of those things when you go to a senior or when you are going into the court. Because you will not get exactly the law which you like for arguing. Right? Good. I can talk on that for a long time, but I still have only about another 15-20 minutes. So let me quickly move on to corporate laws. What is the difference between going to the court and going to the corporate? First of all, please understand what is a corporate, what is business. You have huge number of businesses. As I said once earlier, in business, you can do Apple business to aeroplane business. You can do mango business up to Maybach car. You can do ordinary eraser business up to electronics. You can do ordinary paint business up to pharmaceuticals. You can do ordinary shoe business up to steel. All come within the umbrella of business. So when you're entering into corporate, find out what business they are doing. You have about 100 to 125 corporate laws. All are not doing the same quantum of laws. So that is why you have to understand where you are joining. What are the laws applicable? Supposing you take up Infosys, Wipro, Intel, IBM, Accenture, many laws, corporate laws are not applicable to them. They don't have GST. They don't have a law called as central excise. Central excise means what? When you are manufacturing a car, when you are manufacturing a scooter, when you are manufacturing some small machines, when it is leaving the factory, you are supposed to pay tax. The tax is known as central excise, excise duty. Infosys is doing software. You don't have lorries outside Infosys where you can take physically the software and put it into the lorry. It is sent over ether. It is sent over net to foreign countries. That is why central excise is not there. Are you clear? So therefore, please understand when you talk about corporate law, see where you are joining. Supposing you take my subject called HR. Many laws are not applicable to IT companies. In your college, they would have taught you Industrial Disputes Act. What is a strike? What is a lockout? What is layoff? What is retrenchment? All that is not applicable to IT companies. We don't have unions. There is no strike. There is nothing called as big lockouts. The word called lockout, temporary closing down the place of. It's not applicable to IT companies. Modern businesses, it's not there. Factories Act. Factories Act is not applicable. So, dear friends, please, corporate laws, you have plenty, but see what laws are applicable to each company where you go. Companies are divided into sectors. Cluster of industries come under a sector. Infosys, Wipro, Intel, I come under IT sector. Similarly, Toyota or Ford or whether it's Mahindra Motors or Tata Motors, they come under the automobile sector. So see what laws are applicable to sectors. Please get this straight. Similarly, marketing laws, Consumer Protection Act. Consumer Protection Act is not applicable for modern businesses. But supposing you want to buy a washing machine, fridge, it's not working. it is applicable. So therefore, please appreciate corporate laws in the context of where you are going and joining. Right? Similarly, find out what are the CEO related laws. CEO has got lots of laws. First of all, see whether it is a company. Then you're expected to follow the Companies Act of 2013. Lot of amendments have been brought about. It should be registered company. What is an AGM? How board meetings are conducted? There will be lots of qualified people, more qualified than you, who will be knowing those laws. Company secretary, chartered accountant, they're all there. Right? So that is why we say go with a good attitude. The CEO will be having laws related to competition law. For those of you from North India, you must have heard about big companies called DLF. They were violating competition law. That is why the court has asked them to pay 530 crores. It's a law related to companies. Similarly, mergers and acquisitions. Lots of laws are centered around that. I was working in a company called BPL Telecom. It was taken over by SR. SR was taken over by Hutch. Hutch was overtaken by Vodafone. Vodafone and Idea have merged. Who does all these transactions? It's the lawyers, corporate law. Similarly, I was in a company called BFL, taken over by Emphasis, taken over by EDC, and EDC taken over by HP. Mergers and acquisitions. Oracle in the last 2 years has acquired more than 60 companies. That's why we want corporate lawyers. But one important point which most of you will not be knowing is there is a hierarchy when it comes to corporates. So you may get a job as management trainee legal or executive trainee legal. And then after a few years, they make you assistant manager legal, deputy manager legal, manager legal, head of legal. He will come with 15 years experience, 20 years experience. Because he has to handle so many laws. Sometimes if you take up small companies, you may not have this hierarchy. Supposing you're taking a small company, which has got only about 500 people or 1,000 people. There it's enough if you have one legal officer. So you will be handling. It all depends. It's all contextual. There is no one particular answer for all these things. Only when you go, see the size of the company, what business they are, how do they earn their money, all these things are required for a corporate lawyer. Then you will start appreciating corporate laws. Now, one important aspect which I would like to mention between going to the court and going to corporate. In court, as I said, you're going with an intention of service, winning the case, doing good for the clients. In corporates, you are going to facilitate the CEO to make his business great. We don't want you to talk about only laws. Help the business. That is why we will take you. That is why you will find some people who are very good, smart students who understand all these things. They'll be paid 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, freshers per annum. Almost you can get 70,000, 80,000 or 1 lakh also per month. Why? You're understanding business. You will appreciate business. You will help me. For example, okay, there is a law in HR that workers should not work in a factory for more than 8 hours. No, you're a lawyer. You can go tell the CEO, sorry sir, they cannot work. Read the law properly. Help the business. You should know how to tell to the CEO, sir, they should not work for 8 hours. But if they work for extra 1 or 2 hours, there is a concept called overtime payment. If you give overtime payment, they can work. So you are falling in line with business. CEO will call and say, you're the legal officer. I want women to work till 12 o'clock in the night, till 11 o'clock in the night. Ask them, all of them to work at least till 10 o'clock in the night. You cannot take the rule book and say, sir, law says they cannot work. It's an odd hour. By 7 o'clock, they should be left off. But you should have the intelligence to read the law properly and help business, sir. Even if ladies are working beyond 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., if we provide transport, if we provide security, they can all be dropped back at home. Fine-tune yourself to business, and help the CEO in making more and more profits. Then you become a good corporate lawyer. It's not just quoting the law. That is why you will find the CEOs themselves know the law. But as a lawyer, how are you helping me in Indian Contract Act? Because every company has hundreds of contracts. Software companies have thousands of contracts with foreigners, USA, European clients. How are you helping them out? So therefore, dear friends, I'm just taking you through. I would say I've given you a peep. I've not done any great thing. I've just given you a peep of what is expected in courts. I've given you what is expected in corporate, what is expected in the legal firm. And I've also told you on the competencies which you should have. So therefore, just 1 minute. Yes. Okay. I don't know. It's already 11:15. Can I continue? Let me just check with Abhishek, or is there any questions? Can I continue? I have enough to tell still.
Yes, sir, you can continue.
Okay. So, dear friends, now in corporate, okay, please you should make yourself very clear on this. If you are entering into full-time jobs, I joined as full-time. I was in corporate for a long time as full-time. I can't go and practice because that amounts to double employment, right? But supposing I am an advisor, I am doing part-time work, I'm just going there for 2 days or 3 days per week, then I'm permitted to practice. Because sometimes, when you join corporate, students ask, sir, can I also go to the court? Tomorrow it will be an offense, you cannot do it. Therefore, you can't have one full-time employment with a corporate and then go full-time to the court. How can you do both the functions, right? That is why courts will not permit it. Courts always looks upon you as court officers. When you're a lawyer, when you're an advocate, they want you to be full-time here, because tomorrow, otherwise, non-serious people will enter into the profession. So please keep that in mind. Now, next interesting point which I would like to tell is, in the field of corporate also, you will not be given all the laws. Students always, I like to go to corporate. There again, as I said, we have more than 100 laws, in some cases 125 laws. There are only some laws which you will like, and some laws only which the company will give you initially. Start looking at it very seriously. Some of you may be very good in taxation laws. Every corporate is bounded by taxation laws. There are some laws which are applicable to all corporates. Just 10 minutes back, I told you all the laws are not applicable to corporate. Now I'm telling you there are some laws which are applicable to all the corporates. Whether you're in IT sector, whether you're in pharma sector, whether you're in manufacturing sector, whether you're in biotech sector, whether you are in the services sector like airlines and all, airlines, food industry. What are those laws? Your Provident Fund Act, ESI Act, Gratuity Act, similarly your insurance laws, similarly laws related to income tax. You cannot say I'm working in Infosys, I will not pay tax, or I'm working for Biocon, a big Biocon into a totally different sector, I will not pay tax. No. So please understand, segregate all these things. There are some laws applicable to all corporates and some laws which are applicable only sector wise. What is the hierarchy? Again, be a little careful. So therefore, you have to embrace all the corporate laws. Example, environmental laws. Environmental laws are very applicable to manufacturing sector. Hundreds of companies have closed down because of violation of environmental laws. For example, the smoke which is letting out from the chimneys of the factories is causing harm, right? It's affecting the environment. Water pollutants, the water which you're letting out from the factory, please treat it and release it. Otherwise, you're spoiling the nearby villages. So like this, you have lots of environmental laws related to factories, safety laws. So don't get confused. Whenever you read any law, look at its applicability. Then you make your career nicely. Look at the application. Where is it applied? Now, when you're joining for example, you're joining a corporate. Why we ask you to know all these laws? First, you should know all these laws to help the CEO, to help the company. Secondly, when there is a case, you should take all these cases to the lawyer and help the lawyer to win the case. You may not be permitted to fight in the court of law, but you have to help the lawyer to fight the case. Similarly, legal firms. You can do two things. You can go to the court and you can also go to the corporate. One, you go to the court, yes, you are there along with the legal firm, Amarchand Mangal Das, okay, right, on behalf of that firm, you fight it out. But similarly, you can go to corporate, get all those cases, and then help the corporates also. Because all companies, because one clarification which I want to do here, all companies don't require corporate lawyers. There are many companies which are mid-sized, 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people. I know even companies which are having 20,000 people who don't want lawyers, who don't want corporate lawyers. Why? I know the law. I have my HR, I have my finance, who are all qualified people. They will help me in law. Because, for example, if you take a chartered accountant, if you take that course, it is loaded with laws. If you take a company secretary, they also study laws. So I don't want a full. And if at all I require a lawyer, I'll make use of external help. So that is why don't get confused. Don't go by the impression that all lawyers are required for corporates. No, there are many corporates who work on what is known as retention. They will have an advocate per month, pay him something, but as and when the cases come, we will give it to you, or as and when we need your advice, we will call you and give us the advice. For that, we will make you a payment. That's why these such type of work are done by legal firms. So to give a nice conclusion, okay, with just few points, all of you have entered the right profession. Laws are growing in a developing economy like India. We have 1,261 laws, and many more laws are on the anvil. Many more laws are coming. Recent laws which are doing very well are cyber laws, GST, Insolvency and Banking Code, Real Estate Regulation Act. These are all brand new laws. And competition law, all these are brand new laws and which are doing very well. We are expecting many more laws to come, and those laws are going to take India forward in a nice, better manner. Next point, you need not know all the laws. Even if you know one or two laws, and if you are specializing very well in that, that is enough. I know some lawyers, bright youngsters who have taken to cyber laws. They are earning very good income only with the help of cyber laws. Information Technology Act, digital signature, 66A of the Information Technology Act was amended recently. So that is why, there is lots of electronic evidence which will be used. When you enter into Information Technology Act, you will find it very interesting. It is a hybrid of both civil procedure and criminal procedure. Right? Today, pornography is a big issue. Child pornography is a very big issue. I do not know whether you know the law. Watching pornography is allowed in India if you're doing it alone. Child pornography, even if you watch, you can be held liable. Lots of like this, lots of changes are happening in laws, especially when it comes to Information Technology Act. There is a huge scope out there. So I'm not that you should take up lots of laws, even if you take up one or two laws. Intellectual Property Act, that one law alone can lead your life nicely for the next 30 to 40 years. Trademarks, violation of trademarks is becoming a big issue here. So dear friends, I hope you enjoyed my session. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take. The whole idea was just warm you up. You've taken the right course. You've studied well. Enjoy this course. Why? Because this course or this legal profession is recession proof. Recession will not affect this course at all, this legal field. There are crores and crores of cases pending in India. And the beauty of this law profession is, it is nothing but meritocracy. If you have merit, automatically you will zoom in life. There's no question of all unwanted things in this profession. Merit takes you to next level. That is why you will find brilliant lawyers, right? Take up one brilliant jurist we had, Nani Palkiwala, who fought that beautiful case, Keshwananda Bharati case, and because of which, we had the fundamental rights restored nicely, basic structure of the constitution. You have got brilliant lawyers in India. Read about them, sharpen yourself, continuously develop. Never give up. If you ask me, this is one of the finest professions in this world. And the beauty of this profession is there is no retirement. You can do it at 60, 65, 70, 75. Today, all of us require money. So if you're looking at it from the long-term perspective, from a career, embrace. But first 2 to 3 years, you have to invest for the balance 30, 40 years to be nice. There is a difference between 100 meters race and a marathon. In a marathon, you never sprint initially. You have to run for 10 miles, 15 miles. So therefore, this career, law profession is all about career. You overtake only after the 6th mile, 7th mile, 8th mile. First 3 or 4 years, don't count whether you are successful or not. You don't achieve success. It's not a 100-meter sprint where you run very fast. No, you have to run for 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. Overtaking will always happen slowly. So with these words, I am planning to conclude my session. Wonderful to the organizers for giving me an opportunity. Wonderful meeting all of you over this webinar. Thanks for joining on this lovely Sunday. My email ID is prof.rrsuresh@gmail.com. prof.rrsuresh@gmail.com. My mobile number is 98867111012. You will have hundreds of questions, not now, but as you move in your profession, at any point of time, if you feel that you require a little bit of, say, clarification or little guidance, little bit of mentoring, always there to guide you, help you, and motivate you, because we are waiting for good law students to enter the court and corporates. I don't want you to come ordinarily. I don't want you to be a mason in the court. Ram Jethmalani said, we are expecting law students to be law architects. All of you should be like Nani Palkiwala. In the Indian Constitution, there are 3 organs. You have the judiciary, you have the executive, you have the parliament. All 3 are co-equal. Nothing is more superior than the other. Each one will like to infringe on the other. So that is why we want law architects. Nani Palkiwala and others were great jurists, architects. So wishing you all the very best. God bless you. It's a very remunerative function also. Absolutely nothing can stop you from growing. So God bless all of you and best wishes. Thank you very much.
We are fortunate and blessed to hear you, sir. Thank you for enlightening us. If anyone has any queries, please mention them in the chat box.
Shreya, you're muted.
There's a question. Yeah, please. Yeah.
So the first question is from Mrunalini. As a fresher, how and where do we start our corporate field connected with even environment law?
Good. See, if you take up this environmental law, it is not one law. Environmental law is the heading they have given. Inside that, you have lots of sub-laws, like Pollution Control Act, right? Similarly, air pollution. Like this, you have different subsets. Environmental law is gained momentum in the world because the whole world is going through crisis. Environmental issues are the burning issues of today. We have only one planet to live and we are destroying it. That is why United Nations is taking it up very seriously. Countries are taking it up seriously. Corporates are taking it up seriously. I don't know how many of you are from Pune or Mumbai. They wanted to develop a beautiful city, first planned city called Lavasa. Ajit Gulabchand, he was the CEO. He brought it up very nicely, but now it is stopped. Beautiful new hill station because of environmental issues. So therefore, environment is a very huge subject. You can join corporates because corporates are expected to take care of the environment. Chemical industries, steel industries, power industries, jute industries, leather industries, every day they are letting out pollutants, air pollutants or water pollution. So you have to be the legal officer there and inform the company, don't do it. You're crossing the parameters laid down by the law. If you don't follow all these things, the company will close. So therefore, environmental law is a big law. Our environment should be good so that we human beings ultimately are happy. Not only we are not the last people on the earth. Our children will be there, grandchildren will be there, great grandchildren. We have to lead, we have to hand over the earth nicely to them. So those of you who are interested in environmental law, please join corporates, or you can go even and practice independently, or you can join some big NGOs. Politicians hate environment because they want to make money. Who is stopping them? Lawyers are stopping them. Don't do it. Right? That is why a lot of forest area, when the Britishers left India, nearly 65% of India was a forest. Today, if you see, the percentage of forest is very, very, very less. Everything has been cut. That is why you'll find, everywhere you'll find storms, you'll find tsunamis, you will find flooding of rivers. We have played too much with the environment. So please go ahead. You can also write to me. I will guide you.
So the next question is
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Shreya, again,
Shreya, can you unmute your mic?
yes. So the next question is from Ria. How to figure out the particular law we should specialize in and are good in?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. You would have been taught about 40 to 50 laws. But not all the subjects you would have liked. You would have liked probably 3 or 4 subjects. For example, Indian Contract Act, or whether it to do with cyber laws. I don't know. Or it may be labor laws. Each human being is different, and each liking, preferences, and passion is different. What you like, I will not like. What I like, she will not like. So it is individual. Passion means when you hear it, you like it. When you hear it more, you like it more. When you do it more, you like it more. That is why find out your passion. Definitely among the 40, 50 subjects they would have taught you, at least 3 or 4 subjects you would have liked. Law of torts you would have liked, Contract Act, or for that matter, Hindu law. Go ahead and take it. That means keep the fire within you. Again, passion may sometimes cheat you. Initially, you like it. Afterwards, you may lose interest. That is why it is like taking oil and putting it into a lamp. Every day, your mother will be doing it. Keep the flame alive. That is why you'll find many people doing the same thing for 40, 50 years, because when they do it, they love it. So I can't give an answer what you will like. That is why some of you will like some subjects. Go ahead and take it. There is scope for everything. The beauty of this law subject is I cannot say in this line there is no scope. Don't do it. If I say that, I'm the biggest fool. Civil law has got scope. Criminal law. Every day crimes are increasing. Tell me where crimes have stopped. So everywhere. Hindu law, look at the quantum of divorces. Once upon a time, the marriage of institution itself is crumbling. Today, per month, we are getting hundreds of cases in Bangalore for divorce. We never knew this will happen in India till 15, 20 years back. We are becoming the divorce capital of the world. So which law is not good? Everything is good. So dear friends, see where your interest is. See where your passion. And see where, you get a kick out of that law. Cyber laws, very interesting. Today, everything is becoming very interesting. So, your passion.
So the next question is from Ritika. How to become legal advisor in corporate and what are the eligibility and essentials?
See, if you are qualified in law, BA, LLB, BCom, LLB, that is more than sufficient. LLM is not required for corporate. LLM is required for higher education, for PhD, for becoming a faculty. Now, your law qualification is more than sufficient. But only thing is, you should go with a good attitude to learn for the next 2 to 3 years. Corporate law is very good. As I said, very interesting, very decent. Why people like corporate law? You go to all corporates today, you go to Infosys, Wipro, many of they are like 5-star hotels here. AC environment, very beautiful, all knowledgeable people, and you get breakfast, lunch, dinner. Sorry to say, you go to any court in India, In fact, it looks very shabby. That's a public place, right? Sometimes youngsters like corporate because I want to be in a 5-star environment, 3-star, if not 5, at least 3-star environment. Pick up and drop is given to you. You have all facilities. So when so many facilities, you're assured income. Every month I'm giving you 20,000, 30,000, or if you're brilliant and intelligent, I'll give you 80,000. What else you want? Fixed work. You need not have to go to office on Saturday, Sunday many times. Sit at home also and work. There is no question of senior, junior there. There will be a head of legal and he will guide you. And you are helping in business. So whether it has got to do with CEO laws, HR laws, marketing laws, finance laws, like this, you have very interesting laws. Enter with an open mind that my line is going to be corporate. Don't go with any, this is what I will do. Be broad-based. Only this I will do. Please don't tell that. In corporate law, you should be able to handle all cases because you don't have 1,000 laws, only about 100 laws. So at least some of those laws you should admire and take it. Very interesting. For those of you, I am in corporate. I do not like to go to court. I love corporate. So I went there, good salary, everything was nice. Facilities were good. Right? Some of you like to go to court. It's all individual dependent. There's nothing called as a right or wrong. Right? Slowly you will blossom. Slowly you will handle subject after subject after subject after subject. You will become an expert. That's what I'm saying. Give it time.
So the next question is from Satish. What is the difference between practice in trial court and high court work nature? What should be preferred to a newcomer advocates?
Trial courts are very, very, very important. I will always say start with the trial courts. You get to know the procedures, hundreds of procedures. If you follow in the trial court properly, it will help you to go to High Court or Supreme Court later. For example, don't mistake me, in India, you have a gradation. You have LKG, UKG, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 10th, plus 2. After completing 5th standard, can you say, I want to go and join graduation? It's not permitted. So please follow a procedure. It's nice. Straight away, don't say, I'll go to High Court. The trial court experience is very nice. You're handling cases at the lower level. Hundreds of things you have to learn at the lower level before you move on to High Court. So therefore, don't be in a hurry. Spend a few years in the trial court. Understand systems, understand procedures. The more stronger you are in procedures in trial court, it will help you in the High Court. Normally, you will find High Court has got little senior people and many things come for appeal over there. It has failed in the lower court and that's why he's gone and appeal. So therefore, it's nice to follow this process because you're taking the matter logically unless there is a writ jurisdiction. Writ jurisdiction means directly High Courts and Supreme Courts are permitted. All other cases, you have to come through the lower courts. So High Court itself will say, please, this is not my jurisdiction. Go to the lower court. Come through that. So it's always nice. Okay, to answer specifically, you learn court procedures. You go through in a graduated manner. You are thorough with arms and ammunitions well in a trial court means after 6-7 years when you enter into High Court, you click there very fast. Many people I know who have gone to High Court and come back to trial court.
So the next question is from Mrunalini. How do we join forensic science with a law degree?
Forensic science is a very big subject. Today we use it extensively in all cases, especially relating to crimes. Forensic experts are required. When a man commits a murder, please remember he leaves behind many, many, many things after the murder, however careful he is. He leaves even a hair. He leaves a portion of his skin. So we want forensic experts who will tell correctly how the crime happened. I do not know whether you understand the difference between criminology and Indian Penal Code. Criminology is different. Indian Penal Code talks about crimes and punishments. Criminology, why crimes are happening. Enter into that beautiful subject. There are also few courses which give you professional degrees in forensic science. In fact, you also have forensic audit today. I know many students who are in finance do forensic audit because man is becoming bad day by day. Crimes are happening more and more. Cheating is happening. Fraud is happening. A lot of scope for forensic experts because conventional lawyers don't know that subject. Police don't know that subject. We have to rely on the expert advice of the forensic scientist. That is why you are known as expert people who will come to the court and give evidence. Many times doctors will come. Forensic experts will come. Why? None of us know that subject. Judge will rely on that forensic expert advice much more than the lawyer because you are an expert in that line. Go ahead and do that course. Wonderful. Huge scope is there. Tell me one place in India where crimes are not happening. Crimes are in abundance. You are the backbone. That is why the moment a crime is committed, immediately they will cordon off that area. Police will not allow anybody. Call the forensic expert. Because destruction of evidence, spoiling of evidence, everything can happen. You have to collect the samples, collect the blood samples, collect everything there, and it will change the case of the particular course of that case itself will get changed because of forensic. Very good. Congratulations. Keep it up. Join. Additional courses do.
Next question is from Shampa. Will a master degree in constitution help me in judicial services?
Constitutional law is the base for all the laws in India. If you are good in constitution, you become a great advocate or a great person in the corporate. 1947, we got independence. We did not have a constitution. It took nearly about 17, 18 months to write the constitution. Dr. Ambedkar and his team, 1949, it became ready. 1950, it was institutionalized, and January 26, 1950, it started rolling. This is a fundamental document of the country. This is the Bible for the country. This is the law which says all other laws have to fall in line with the Constitution. Constitution is the only law where we don't talk about sections, we talk about articles. We talk about preamble of the Constitution, which helps to open the minds of the makers. You make any law, if it is violating the constitutional law, the law will be struck off. Constitutional law, constitutional expert, every second or third case, we will refer to the Constitution. Constitution has got phenomenal scope. Preamble is there, fundamental rights are there from Article 14. Right, then you have fundamental duties, then you have got the power of the governor, power of the president. Right? What is happening everywhere? Rajasthan, there is a problem. Tamil Nadu, there is a problem. Karnataka, there is a problem. Every time MLAs, they are taken to guest houses, put there under lock and key. Why? What does the governor refer to? President refer to Constitution? What does the Constitution say? Which government should I call? Who should be in power? Constitution, it is the lifeblood of our country. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, we do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution on this 26th day of 1949. All the people who wrote the Constitution, they never took one naya paisa from the government of India. They wrote it free. This was the beauty of Dr. Ambedkar and his team. I'll be very happy if people take up constitutional law. It's a fundamental document. It is the one on which government is every day running. So therefore, scope is phenomenal. I'll speak for another, so I'll stop here. I'm tempted to talk more also.
So the last question is from Unnati. Which particular law is very beneficial to a corporate lawyer?
No. See, it's a very tough question to answer. It's very difficult because so many laws are there. I can't say only this law. It's very difficult. Madam, if you are starting a company, the first The law which is applicable to you is Companies Act. Whether it's a private limited company, public limited company, are you going for shares, who are going to be the board members, how you will do the board meetings, that is a fundamental document. Then secondly, you have to register Infosys and all Shops and Establishments Act. So similarly, CUO has got very important laws, intellectual property laws, competition. As I said, it will be wrong on my part to tell only one law is important for corporate or only that law is important. No. So there are about, as I said, nearly about 100 laws, out of which 15-20 laws are very, 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 very important. For example, I will tell you, Ramalingam Raju, Satyam Software, he violated laws, economic laws. He violated Companies Act. That is why he was put in jail for 6 years. Similarly, Vijay Mallya, what is the law? He has got 2 titles, willful defaulter and proclaimed offender for Money Laundering Act. It is a company law. It is related to corporates. Money Laundering Act is not only for corporates, others also, but he is caught under that law. Nirav Modi. So therefore, dear friends, in the field of corporate, very difficult to tell only this law, but at least you should know 3 or 4 laws. Very, very important. That's why I say, that is why you do BBM LLB. If you do BBM LLB, do management laws. If you're BCom LLB, take up finance laws. That's why you have a course called BCom LLB. In BCom LLB means what? You're good in commerce. Take up finance laws, insurance laws, banking laws, treasury laws, customs laws, income tax laws. If you have done BBM LLB, then take up laws. Why you don't take finance? Because your core is not finance. You can take subjects related to HR, marketing. These laws you can take up. It all depends upon your domain knowledge. That's why you have courses like this. You also have in some colleges BSc LLB, right? So that's why we give you that gradation there. Go by your domain. Right. Hope I've answered your question. Because I should not misguide you. All are important.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. And thank you, sir, for coming. I would like to take a minute for an announcement. Legal Intellect is organizing a quiz competition named War of Night Owl on 16th August. The topic for the quiz is General Knowledge and Current Affairs of July 2020. Registration fees for the participants is 50 rupees and registrations are to be closed on 15th of August, Saturday by 6 p.m. The participants achieving first and second position will be rewarded by cash prize and top 3 participants will get an opportunity for an internship. E-certificates will be provided to all, as well as Legal Intellect is in association with Legal Patra is organizing a 3-day online certificate course on matrimonial offense under criminal law. For more details, visit our website www.legalintellect.info. Once again, thank you for joining us today and see you next time.
Thanks to all of you. God bless all of you. Best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.